Now, if I have the probability of an event occurring to be, let's say, A over B, and I ask you what's the probability of the event not occurring. Now, to get the probability of the event not occurring, you just do 1 minus A over B. Do you get the drift? Now, remember in the former video, I told you that we have a kind of range. On this side, we have 0. On this side, we have 1. So if I have the probability of an event occurring, for example, to be 2 over 5, it means I have 2 over 5. And this is like the probability of the event occurring. So if I ask you what's the probability of the event not occurring, it's like I'm asking you this part. And to get this part, all you need to do is 1 minus 2 over 5. Do you understand? So if I told you that the probability of Ade passing an exam equals to 1 over 3, and I ask you what's the probability of Ade failing, to get that, all you need to do is to say 1 minus 1 over 3. So you just kind of find the LCM. 3 in 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. All over 3. Do you understand? Probability of winning, if it's 2 over 5, the probability of losing would be 1 minus 2 over 5. Do you understand this? The probability of going abroad, let's say it's 1 over 9. The probability of not going abroad will be 1 minus 1 over 9. Is this clear? Now, I've got one other thing I would like to show you in this video, but the best way to explain that is to take an example. So let's take an example. So we've got this question, an unbiased die is wrote 100 times and the outcome is tabulated as follows. What is the probability of obtaining 5? Now, I think the first thing you need to remember is the formula for probability. So probability that an event occur is equal to the number of required outcome all over number of possible outcomes. So we have number of possible outcome. Now in this case, we've got these numbers, which is like the numbers you can get when you roll a die. And this is the frequency. Now to calculate the probability of obtaining 5, all I do is probability of obtaining 5 equals to, what's the frequency of 5? We have 20. So number of required outcome is 20 all over. What is the total frequency? So we have to add 13 with 15 to 22 to 14 to 20 to 16, which would be like the number of possible outcome. Does that make sense? So let's do that here. 13, 15, 22, 14, 20, 16. 5 plus 3, 8, plus 2, 10, plus 4, 14, plus 6 is 20, 0 carry 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So we have 20 all over 100. Does that make sense? 0 cancels 0. 2 here 1, 2 in 10 is 5. So we have probability of obtaining 5 equals to 1 over 5. Is this not simple? Probability of obtaining 2 will be 15 over 100. 5 here 3, 5 here 20. So we have 3 over 20. Probability of obtaining 6 will be 16 over 100. 4 here 4. 4 here 25, so we have 4 over 25. Let's take another example. Number of children per family in a community. Find the probability that the family has at least 2 children. Now remember, the first thing you want to do is to write the formula always. Formula for probability of an event occurring is the number of required outcome all over number of possible outcomes. So we have number of possible outcomes. Now the first thing I need to explain before we even start solving is this phrase here, at least 2 children. Now anytime you are asked in probability at least means the smallest. Now the smallest is this number 2. Does that make sense? Now it means that if the smallest is 2, we are moving to the right. So at least 2 means 2, 3, 4, 5 children. Does that make sense? But if I'm told at most, let's say we say at most 2, it means that the biggest number should be the number which is 2. So it means from 2 we are moving backwards. So the biggest should be 2, 0, 1, 2. Does that make sense? So at least means the smallest should be that number. At most means the biggest should be that number. Do you understand? Now let's go to this question. We have find the probability that the family has at least 2 children. So it means the probability that it has at least 2 children is that we are going to add the frequencies or the number of families for 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. Do you understand? Of at least 2 children equals to 7 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. Can you see? All over the total number of families. So we have 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. Now can you see that the denominator is usually the total, while the numerator, that is this on top, is usually what we're given in the question. Does that make sense? So we'll have probability of at least 2 children. 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. 14 plus 2 is 16. So we have 16 all over. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 plus 3 is 22. 22 plus 2 is 24. So we have 16 all over 24. 8 in 16 is 2. 8 in 24 is 3. So we have probability of at least 2 children is 2 all over 3. And here's our answer. Now what if I'm asked find the probability that the family has at most, let's say we are asked at most 3 children. How do we solve that? Now let's solve that together. Now remember, at most 3 means the highest is 3. So the highest is 3. It means we are moving towards this side. Do you understand? So probability of at most 3 children will be equals to, we add all the frequencies. So we have 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 4 all over the total number of families. The total number of families, we got it as 24. Does this make sense? Which is equals to 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. So we have 19 all over 24. I hope you understand. So don't forget what we did in this video. Number 1, when you have at least, it means that the smallest is that number. And when we have at most, it means the biggest is that number. Now the second thing we treated in this video is when you have probability of an event to be A over B. The probability that the event does not occur or did not occur will be 1 minus A over B. I hope you understand perfectly.